Ni hao. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Teacher World. I'm happy that you're tuning in with me today. And today we're going to discuss, did you know teaching abroad? Did you know that by teaching abroad, you're broadening your horizons and you're opening up doors that will benefit you in the future? So, for example, by teaching abroad, when you put that experience on your resume, potential employers see that and you become more marketable because they want you, because you have the experience teaching in a different country and a different surrounding, different environment, and it makes you more recognizable. It makes you unique. It sets you apart from everyone else because how many people actually teach abroad? I mean, when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, you do have many people who are teaching abroad, but in that institution where you're working at, or that institution down the line that you will apply to, how many people actually had the experience of teaching abroad or studying abroad? It's not that many, right? Because of different experiences, different situations. People don't really have the opportunity to take advantage of teaching abroad for whatever reason. So it makes you marketable. Did you know teaching abroad allows you to travel to different countries? Oh my gosh. If it was not for me living in China, I wouldn't have made it to Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, and Philippines, and Australia, and oh my gosh, like I could just go on and on and on. But because I was able to stay in China, live in China, and then me becoming more curious about my environment, I was able to travel to different countries for a very low cost. And I did that by using C-Trip. That's a little secret that some of the locals told me when I was living in China. Use C-Trip. I will link that description in the box below. Did you know teaching abroad allows you to experience different types of food? Because when you're traveling to these different countries or the country that you're teaching in, you get to taste, right? You taste the food. You may like it, you may not like it, but you're broadening your horizons, right? Your palate is starting to evolve. You're tasting different foods, and I'm a foodie. I don't know about you, but I know about me, and I love food. So when I travel to Vietnam, I've been there like 3 times, and then you understand like this whole visa thing just by living abroad, applying for your visa, getting it online, getting that thing in your passport, and then you just pew take off. When I traveled to Vietnam, I went to Ho Chi Minh, I was in Da Nang, and I also went to Hanoi. And I had something called iced coffee while I was in, I believe it was Hanoi. It was like the best thing ever. And had I not taught abroad and been able to travel to these different countries, I would have never experienced iced coffee. I would have to travel back to Vietnam to experience that again. Yes, I can make it, but it's not the same. So travel, teach abroad, and travel. So back to what I was saying about being in Vietnam. I had something called bun cha. I don't know if I'm saying it right, and I'm probably like messing this word up, but it's like a Vietnamese meatball, and it tastes so freaking good. You need ground pork, and you need, these different seasonings to make it. But I only knew about that because I had bun cha when I was in Vietnam. That's why you should consider teaching abroad. Did you know that you can accumulate extra money by teaching abroad? Because of course you have your job that you're working at and you make money working with that job, but because you are there to teach English, you are becoming more marketable working in that country because there are other people who want to learn English, whether they are adults or whether they are children. When I was teaching in China at a Chinese public school, I was able to tutor students when I finished my job teaching, and I would tutor students right after work for about an hour or so. And it was the students I actually taught in school. So my students that I taught in first and second grade, their parents wanted me to tutor them outside of school at a private center, not like a private language center, but sometimes I would actually tutor in the student's home, and that's an extra way to make money. So You see what I'm saying here? You're making more money by teaching abroad because you're taking on extra jobs. Speaking of extra jobs, being in a different country, you're meeting new people, you're networking, you're learning about people and their experiences in their country, and you learn new things. So, by living in China or by teaching abroad, you meet new people and they put you onto stuff. So, I met a friend in China and she met someone, a man who was from, I believe he was from Singapore, but he was like into making commercials and he was looking for teachers, foreign teachers who are living in China to be a part of these commercials. Now, I didn't stick with it and I probably should have. I don't know what I was thinking. It was like back in 2015, like when I first got there. I was giving, I guess because I was a little overwhelmed, like just being in a new country, that making the commercials and going and setting up and reading these scripts and being on camera, I don't know, like I kind of like messed up on that opportunity, but opportunities can arise. So depending on where you are, where you're teaching, the people you network, you never know who they are and what they do. So networking is big, okay? Because you may become big wherever you're teaching. Did you know teaching abroad is a quick way to learn a new language? Now, by no means can I speak Mandarin fluently. No, I cannot. But I do know some survival Chinese or survival words in Mandarin because I had to learn these words from living there. Certain things I needed to be able to communicate, and pointing is helpful, but it doesn't get you that far. So there's some words that I can say in Chinese. And if you want me to say some words, let me know in the description below. But if you don't, thank goodness, because my tones are totally off. Mandarin, there are 4 tones, and some of these words, many words that you say, just by using a different tone, you could say the word, but the tone makes the word have a different meaning. Yeah, so I should still practice my Mandarin. You know, when I left China back in 2018, it's like you use it or you lose it. And I definitely lost it. I lost some words. But when I came back home and I would order Chinese food, I used to get that beef with broccoli. Well, I still kind of get beef with broccoli. But, you know, in the pork fried rice, I would speak to my Chinese man in Chinese. And they would be, oh my gosh, they would flip out. Like, they love it. They freaking love when you speak the language or you try to speak the language, even if your tones are off. So whatever country that you decide to travel to and teach and learn, try to learn the words there because it means something to the people, the locals who are living there. And they see that you're trying, you're putting in effort, and they embrace you, right? They embrace you. So learn the words, learn the language, and do the best you can to communicate it. Did you know by teaching abroad, you get put on to like different secrets? And when I say that, I mean fashion. So by living abroad, you get put on to different fashion styles. If you haven't seen my video of me wearing that cheap pao, those Chinese dresses, and me just strutting. Do y'all see my cheap pals? My Chinese dresses? I made a video of me wearing these Chinese dresses and I was walking. You see? I like this one. I remember I wore this when I first came back home from China in 2018. I was working at a public school in New York, and in October of 2018, I wanted to wear my Chinese dress, and I wore this one. So I love my cheap house. And then here's another one, right? You see? Different flavors. Different flavors. I like this pink one too. So you see, when you embrace the culture, you embrace their ways. So just get into it. And this is not a cheap pal, but this is just one of the tops that I wear. I actually may wear this tomorrow when I go to work. And they're going to be looking at me like, okay. So you have fun. You have fun. I wouldn't have bought Chinese dresses by living in New York. I wouldn't even be thinking about that. But when I was living in China, you're embracing the culture. Wherever country you decide to live and teach, you're embracing a new culture. So then your mind begins to expand. You get to understand things a little differently. So I had purchased different cheap house, and those things are stylish. I think they're very stylish. And then by learning a little bit about fashion styles, by living in whatever country you're living in, you get to know, where to get it for cheap. So I have purchased some Jordans. Maybe they were real, maybe they were fake, I don't know, but they look nice to me. So I bought some and I brought them back home. You get to buy bags. Now, if you know Chinatown, you get all the Gucci. Hopefully you found this video valuable. Hit the like button and subscribe, please, because I am making videos as quickly as I possibly can. I have so much information that I want to share. I want to get out there, and I want you to get that information as soon as possible. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.